Hello, beautiful people. Today is day 5, sort of 4, because when I film these sessions, it's a little bit different from the timing in the natural world. But hopefully, you're feeling really good right now. That these intentions that we're practicing and this focus on wellness and self care are really making a difference in your life. This is some, I forget what we call it, palosanto. It sort of helps bring some good energy into the space. So I got my little flowers, and I'm in my office, but bring some good energy into your office space where you have to work or pay the bills, where it seems like, I know for me, I didn't want to go. I would avoid coming in here because it felt like work. But you can bring good spirit into any place you are. So that's important. So this makes this nice, beautiful smoke, and you smudge and you bring all good things in and clear out negative energy. And I just wanted to do that today. I have a feather that goes with it, but it's over there. So today's a good day. We've been building up our spirit, man. We've been practicing these intentions. Every reminder, every day, we're meditating, exercising. Although I took the day off of exercising today. It's still light outside. I may go for a walk, but usually I do it in the morning. And I was so into my meditation, into these learnings and my journaling, that I didn't want to take a break for my normal workout time. Give yourself grace. When you're still doing good things, it's okay. It's okay. But meditation, exercise, mindful eating, self-care, daily affirmations and journaling, kindness and gratitude, and sleep and rest. Today we're going to do kindness and gratitude. And I have on my beautiful shirt that is part of, you can get this gear off of the Remarkable Wellness site. But we do Black Rising and empower the Black dollar and uplift our community and try to find some goodness and fairness in what's going on in the world. And I created this Vote Love before the election, but it's always true. And it's pink and green. I am an AKA, as is the Vice President, Kamala Harris, and they were just inaugurated yesterday. And I wrote a blog, which I'm putting the link in here for you to check out, and it was a question to my Republican friends who still support Trump. And it's on healing. How can you heal and still support Trump? That's the essence of sort of what it bubbles down to. But I said, I understand that we wanted to let the voters decide, and I understand this, but how do you stay in this space, if you're even trying to, of, I think everyone thinks they're a good person or a kind person. How can you be consciously, actively being in the will of God and what the universe has for you and practice hate? That's essentially the question, but I'm putting the link in here so you can see it. So today I want to talk about kindness and gratitude. I am grateful that we have a new administration in America. I have been practicing kindness and writing some notes, and I have another one that I'm going to write today. I've been doing all of the intentions every day, and I've had moments of, as you know, you have some down moments, but when you stick with it, you have what we call miracles, which is a shift in perception that can change like this. Something you thought was bad suddenly becomes good. And so again, we always want to talk about mindset shifts and changing your mindset. How do we think about kindness and gratitude? And I want to put it in today's worldly context because we're all going through it. Depending on which side of the aisle you sit on or who or what you support, you felt like the world was going great the last 4 years, or you felt like we were in a horror movie. Now that we have a new administration, you may feel like there's hope, or you may feel like you're in a horror movie. Gratitude is for is about being and kindness. So these go together, gratitude and kindness. You can be grateful for what you have today. I'm grateful that we have a historic Madam Vice President, Black, Asian American woman, and all other types of blends, a female, a soror, went to an HBCU. I feel a connection. I feel this whole unity conversation is one that the country needs from our new president. I'm grateful for these things. And I express them and connect with them through my chats with my friends and my family and this joy and happiness everyone has. Now, it's a unity conversation. And so that's sort of where the kindness comes in. So we're grateful for what we have, but we have to express kindness. Here's the mindset shift. Unity doesn't mean you get to have what you want. And if you don't get what you want, you're not unifying. So Republicans might say, well, how are you going to unify the country and you want to do an impeachment already? That's not unifying. You know, if you want to do if you wanted to unify, you'd be forgiving or understanding and not do that. It's just like you have the right to free speech, but you also have the responsibility to experience the consequences of that speech. If you yell fire in the middle of a movie theater, you can't do that. You have the freedom to do that, but you will suffer some consequences. You may go to jail and get arrested. It's illegal. And in that way, we've had conversation that was fiery, inflammatory, calls to action that made some things happen. And therefore, there's going to be consequences. The people who did that are going to be charged. Now, some would say, well, just because someone led them to that doesn't mean that he's responsible. I don't want to get into a political debate about all of that. I just want to draw some parallels. In your own life, just because you say you want unity or your party won or didn't win, unity doesn't come from out there. It comes from within you. I have been for this last year, definitely talking to friends and constituents about you can't do the same thing that your opposing side does that you call wrong and be right. You can't. I mean, you're free to do whatever you want, free will. God gives us free will. But if you're on the path to enlightenment and want peace, inner peace, contentment, you've got to also abide by these same laws and rules. So whenever I say something like that, know that I'm bringing it back to, for happiness, joy, peace, and contentment, these are some things that we all have to do, no matter which side of the aisle you're on, no matter who you voted for. Name calling, making your opinion right or better than someone else's. Whatever your opinion is, that someone on the other side of the aisle has a different opinion, but they believe theirs as strongly as you believe yours. So the kindness that you can extend is respecting, because you want to be respected. What you give, you receive, is respecting their opinion and being able to have an open conversation. You can disagree. Respecting an opinion doesn't mean you have to take it on and own it. So as we try to unify this country, really don't focus on what everyone else is doing. Focus on what you're doing. Are you being a unifier? Are you being as judgmental as you want to be to the other side? And I'd be remiss if I didn't put some conversation about racism in here. So I like to do a stream of consciousness. America was based on racist ideals. We all know that. The first colonizers brought over slaves from Africa in horrible conditions, made us work for them, fought a war to keep that status quo. And then when things changed, there was reconstruction or deconstruction, and is somewhat opening up to, well, these are people too, not just chattel. We were property. But there still remained this philosophical undercurrent that Black folks, slaves that came over, other ethnicities were less than the whiteness of the founding fathers. And that's America today. Now, the experiment or ideal of America is that, all people are created equal, and have the right to life, liberty, and justice. And don't wordsmith me, but this concept, but we don't actually portray it because the people in power like it the way it is. They don't even recognize that there is some differences that are going on in the day to day, because it's easy to put your blinders on. But we do it too in our own way. And that's what I'm saying. When we have maybe not in the racial conversation discourse, but in our families or to other women or who's wearing that and whatever, we make judgments based on what we think is good or better. And we apply those to other people: a good boss, a bad company, all of that, a thug, the ghetto, but we want to be rich and we want to be this and we want to be that. So we also have standards. And today, when you practice gratitude and kindness, the practice is to apply them to your thoughts and your thought system in the community, in the world that you live in. So I wanted to sort of set the stage. I've been telling people, and I'm a Democrat, and obviously I'm a Black woman, you don't do any good by calling your opposition derogatory names. And we can say, yeah, this country has been based on racism. We've been treated wrong. Our ancestors enslaved. These are some facts. My opinion that says, well, if you voted for Trump, you're a racist, is hurtful. Because they're saying if you voted for Biden, you're a left-wing and extremist. Neither one of those are necessarily true. From their position, it's left of where they are, and it may be extreme from where they are. And from our position, if race isn't your first issue, then you must be a racist. But for a lot of people, their first issue, if you're not Black, it's not race. It's how much money's in their bank, which comes from the working class. We're not going to go all those levels. That's for your own exploration and contemplation. Okay, but realize you can take any two issues and they're thinking justice. Maybe they do think that this should be a country led by white supremacists. And they say, accept it or get out. How many times in your household or in your ancestry have you heard this saying, it's my house, if you don't like it, leave. What happens under my roof, whatever. These thought patterns aren't that very different. They're extreme in how people play them out. But when you have kindness and gratitude, when you're thinking higher consciousness, you start to be able to see the other side without it causing you like heartburn and hate. That's your barrier. You're giving too much power to the natural, to the small self, to the body, more than you're giving it to the supernatural, beautiful, unlimited power of God. And this wellness journey is about mind, spirit, and body alignment. So you want to get out of the pettiness. And it's a practice day by day. So every day, if you're practicing kindness and gratitude, it will help you. You can be grateful for where you are. Now be kind to someone who doesn't have what you have, who doesn't have the perspective that you have, who be kind to yourself and stop using language that tears down your own fabric of divinity. It obfuscates this view of what beauty and joy can be in your life. If you're angry and negative and defeated in your attitude, you are angry and negative and defeated in your life. When you practice kindness and gratitude, even to people, or especially to people that don't practice it to you, there's like a doorway that opens that connects a string directly to God, directly to higher wisdom that comes and takes you and helps you to not be bothered by that. No, I don't like it, but I'm not going to judge you because you got that thinking from your father, who got it from his father, who got it from their father. You ain't even know any better. But now we can have a good conversation and we can change things. We can talk in the spirit of love. We can talk in the spirit of oneness. We can talk in the spirit of unity. So it's going to take some time for the country to get there, but the country only gets there one person at a time, one spirit at a time. So this wellness journey is giving us the opportunity, you the opportunity, and me the opportunity to practice these principles every day. And we can actually apply them to our politics or to our family relationships. We can apply them to anything. Unfortunately, there's no lack of hate in the world, but I can also say there is an abundance of love. If you allow yourself to do these practices and open up to it, it's so good. And again, there will be down moments. There will be moments you're like, how do I process it? And asking the question is good because you'll get the answer, but that consciousness, that awareness is part of the journey. So I talk about these things all the time, and this is my most fabulous journal, so I always sort of go back to it because I know I have some notes in here and when I don't want to forget things. So changing your mindset, creating unity in the world, in your community, in our politics, in America, and whatever country you're in too, it starts from within, as everything does. A unity spirit, this oneness that we all are, starts with you. So get the plank out of your own eye, look at yourself in the mirror, and see where you're also being judgmental or unkind or unforgiving. And then turn that over and practice kindness, intentional kindness. And so in the simple, I would say, I used to go to Starbucks every morning to work for a few hours and write, get a nice red eye, shot of a espresso in my coffee. And I would just bless everyone in the room. That's a simple, easy, non-expensive, non-intrusive, but super powerful way to be kind to people. I'm suggesting you can do that, but I'm really suggesting in this age of a new administration where the country is divided and there's a lot of unbelievers about if Biden Harris can actually make this country a better place, that you become part of the unity consciousness, that you extend the olive branch and don't do what people do. They didn't extend it to me. They didn't say their president wasn't legitimate. Now my president wasn't legitimate. Small thinking will get you small results. Be bigger, better. Vote love with your mind and your consciousness. For all those things, try to come back to what's the kind thing I can do here, even if sometimes it's to ignore the other person. So, specifically about gratitude, you manifest grace through gratitude. Grace is an expression of divine love. It is favor, forgiveness, and mercy. You want that on your life. Doesn't that sound good? Oh, Lord, forgive me. Give me mercy and just favor over my life. That's grace. When you have grace. So we're on a path, and grace always exists. It exists through gratitude. When you have gratitude, you're in that place. I call it the superhighway. You know, when you're in that place where you can feel the forgiveness and the mercy and the goodness of what all that life is and has to offer. So gratitude allows you to, so when you're feeling down, think about all the people who have helped you. Write them a note. Think about, I got a roof over my head and there are a lot of homeless people. I have food in my refrigerator and there are people in food lines 2 miles long waiting 8 hours to get a meal for their family. There's a lot of ways to feel and express gratitude. It doesn't cost you any money. It's as close as your next breath. Gratitude. It's the activator that so where you can see and invite more grace into your life. So we talk about there's 3 understandings, which I don't know that I've gone into in depth here, but one is that we're all interconnected, that thinking stuff. Like the breath you breathe is the same breath I breathe. This realm that's higher in love. You're not your body. You're higher than your body. If you were in a coma today, you would still exist. If you were blind or deaf or whatever, that consciousness, that mind, that thinking part of you that attaches with God would still exist. That's why people talk to people in comas. And your body, and that's why when people die and you look at a person in a coffin, the real you isn't there anymore. That's just the body that was helping you to navigate this world system. The you is the spirit energy. I hope that resonated with you. That's a big one for me because I've been to, unfortunately, a lot of funerals. And that body in that coffin is not the person. It's a decaying element. The person, the spirit, the laughter, the conversation, the intelligence that animated that body has left the body. That's who you are. That's who we are in that spirit. Ooh, that's a good one. I hope you get that, because then that'll make all of these concepts better, easier to understand. So gratitude is that thing that in your spirit helps you to have grace and receive the grace throughout your life. Gratitude shifts your awareness from defensiveness and makes room for acceptance and appreciation. So gratitude builds a space. I always talk about building a sacred space. It builds a space. Sometimes you know this feeling when you feel so tight and angry and just, I can't take no more. Just, I want to jump out of my skin. I say that. I'm like, I just want to jump out of my skin. Sometimes I say, I can't stand myself. And I'm talking about my little self. I just can't stand. I got all these thoughts that I don't even want to think about. I'm tired of complaining. I can't stand myself anymore. Gratitude shifts your awareness from defensiveness and makes room for acceptance and appreciation. So whenever you find yourself in that tight place, practice kindness, puts you in a space of gratitude, and it builds the space. These are all beautiful, simple elements. Awaken grace and it expands. So when you start, it just goes. It'll be like you'll see one miracle after another. And then when you are grateful, you receive more to be grateful for. Yeah. It's multiplicative, exponential. It's beautiful, and so just test me in this. Just try it out. Because, it's been a heavy year or 2 or 4. And you have to push against these things and really rise above for your own mental and spiritual wellness. So then you find yourself being able to watch the news and not get pissed, or being able to watch the news for just enough, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and turn it off before you let it affect your countenance and take you out of your space of gratitude. So that self-awareness allows you to be calibrated and aligned with the best you so you can experience your best life. That's what we want. That's what this whole journey is about. The key is to really feel it. So name 3 things you are grateful for. I'm going to want you to write that down. Name 3 things you are really grateful for. Visualize it and say, thank you. Feel the warmth in your mind, in your body. And sometimes I would say, and don't use, the obvious, your kids and your spouse and your whatever, but you could, but there's so much more. It's sunny today. It's been gray it could be for a whole week. It could be as simple as that. Like, I'm so glad for a sunny day. You don't realize how glad you are for a sunny day unless you've been in gray skies and snow for a week. That gratitude right there will help bring all other types of things. So list 3 things or more. The more you list, the better. But spend time feeling that gratitude. putting your face to the sun and doing these things, and it will lift you supernaturally. Gladden your heart. That is the feeling of appreciation and gratitude. So when you're even want to bring your attention, almost like a meditation, to your heart center, smile with your heart, gladden your heart. You've heard that term, gladden your heart. Even if it's non-specific, just like, I'm just gonna sit here. I'm just happy to be alive. Even though there's craziness going on around me, gladden your heart. And that appreciation, grace flows in, and more goodness continues to come. You can choose in each moment. It just means to be present, to make the decision, to be grateful. So here's another piece of mindset shift. Fear, there's only fear and love, and hate and gratitude. Anything negative is a fear. Anything positive, beautiful, wonderful is in the spirit of love. And you really need to, sometimes we fool ourselves by thinking there's something loving, like, I don't know, an abusive husband who says he loves you. That's not, and it makes you feel like crap. That's not love. You're operating in a spirit of fear. So work on being mindful in these moments and being grateful for what you have. And if you're living in a spirit of fear, then you figure out how to exit it in a spirit of grace. This is a good life. I don't have to be here. That's not, hey, we can have different opinions. It's not, I don't have to call you a name, but I'm gonna have to go so I can be in the light and have a positive countenance. And your dark cloud is keeping me from my grace and from my goodness. See how that works? I also always talk about this. Two people in the same situation can see things differently. Perspective. Our reality is based on our perspective, and we're building a perspective of health and wellness. And for every dark cloud, there's also a light horizon, and we're going to the horizon. We are learning, and we know how to transmute and transform darkness into light in every situation. So it means being present, being grateful, and being kind. And this is a good quote I wrote. I don't know if I made it up or someone else did. Usually when someone else does, I'll put it in quotes. But entitlement is thinly veiled selfishness. That's so daggone good. I'm going to have to dog ear this page and add it to something else. Entitlement is thinly veiled selfishness. If you feel, and this is good for Black folk in America too, and white people, all of us, the whole rainbow. You feel entitled because of your color, or you feel entitled because of your victimization. Someone owes you. You feel entitled because you work more hours to get that promotion. You feel entitled because whatever you feel entitled about, you got inner work to do. Because entitlement is thinly veiled selfishness. And in a oneness, in a unity consciousness with the universe that can holds all of your abundance and prosperity waiting for you, there is no selfishness. There's giving, charity, gratitude, charity, kindness. That's what's there. Selfishness, no matter how thinly veiled it is blocking your well-being. So I love that. Write that down, and that's one to meditate on. Entitlement is thinly veiled selfishness. That's what's going on in this country right now. Everyone feels entitled. I'm entitled to my opinion. Okay, be entitled to your opinion. Now, let's go higher. Your opinion's no better than my opinion. It's different, but it's only better if you're feeling entitled. We're all just expressions of our experience. And if I had slave owners or crackheads for parents or people who drove my life, either one of those is going to give me a different experience, and it's going to drive my opinion. Am I wrong for how I grew up, how I was raised? Or it is what it is. So when I recognize that, what I do is I pull in the veil of love of God and his will for me, and then I express it, and then I'm the winner. And then the whole world wins because my light is so bright that it's contagious. And that's what we're all doing. We're becoming a contagion of goodness and love and light in the world. And when you go through this transformation, you feel it, you see it. And I hope you see it in this day versus like the last day or two, or certainly a couple of days ago. I mean, I am just full today and in the spirit, things that have gone on externally and internally. I woke up at 3:30 in the morning with a crazy dream and got up and meditated and journaled on it and got such wisdom. We'll talk about journaling and daily affirmations more tomorrow. But really what came to me was the kindness, because the world is so divided and skeptical of one another, even though with the new administration, how do we get past that? So those are the main things I did not want to forget to talk to you about. Kindness and gratitude. So I have a suggestion for kindness. It's a hard assignment. Well, the easy part is to read the blog, the questions I had on the Republicans who still supports Trump around healing. And it just really walks the stream of consciousness from if healing is loving and being with God. And I say to my Republican friends who still support Trump, but I got Democrat friends who are not operating in a spirit of healing and kindness. And so I'd love for you to read that and decide where you are in that, in this spectrum. The hard thing about what I'm going to ask you to do, because I'm going to do it too. I want you to pick someone that you do not like, and I want you to think about picturing that person not in their body, but picturing them as a child of God, just like you are, as a spirit. And look at them and say, you know what? They're only that way because they're broken by the experiences that they had, because they grew up in a crack house, or they were in a gang, they didn't have any parents, or their parents were drug addicts, or their parents were rich but abusive and only cared about external things. Like if they had better teachers in the way of love and of God's will, they'd be a different person. So I'm not going to blame that person in their body for their experiences. I'm going to look at them from a higher level and practice this kindness, this awesome kindness. I'm going to practice it that God would have me do and see the good in them, which is the love that connects us all. And then think about what's the good they'd see in me. If they could do the same thing, if they could get past my history and my upbringing and my physical body. Some people hate you just because of your color of your skin, or because you're light skin or dark skin. Colorism still trips me out. It's just an extension of racism in that way that will call someone better or worse than. And again, don't wordsmith me. Some people say, well, racism is an institution. You know what I'm talking about in this circle. So maybe we don't have the power to oppress a whole people. I'll call it a bias, a bigotry, because I do know words have power. But I also know meaning is more powerful. And sometimes, and this is exactly, I guess, the point I'm getting to, we stay on the surface of the words. I'm trying to get you to get to the meaning. Get past the words, get past the physical structure, get past the body, and get into the supernatural of what God has for us. So I want you to pick a person. I want you to think about expressing a kindness to them. I am going to go the extra mile because, I'm teaching, so I'm trying to accelerate what I give, I receive. I'm going to write a letter to a person that I really disagree with on very, very many levels. But I'm going to write a letter in this context that I still wish the best for them, that they go in peace, and that we find some place in the very near future to meet in the middle and help create unity for this world. I think I just wrote the letter. I'm going to have to rewind this and then write it down. But that's the essence of what I want to do. And I want you to do the same thing. Now, you can decide if you actually want to mail it. You can decide if you just want to think it and make it a blessing or a prayer. You can decide the level. You can decide if you want to go knock on a door and bring a cake with it. You can decide the level to which you want to lean into this exercise, but just be willing to do a little bit. It's easy to be kind to people who are kind to you. It's easy to be kind, like I said, it's easy to have faith when everything's good. That's not even really faith. That's easy. We're practicing, we're leaning in. When you want to practice kindness, if you want to learn it and grasp it for your own good, give a kindness to your enemies. Watch yourself shoot to the moon, because God will come down and bless you so, and hug you and kiss you and shower down so many things and say, well done, my child. Let's do it again. Or here, take this. And you'll be like, man, it's not even worth being petty. I didn't know that I could have so much more in my life if I wasn't so constricted by my thought process. That's the miracle. That's the miracle. So I'm going to write a note, and I encourage you to also. So the person you're thinking about, because they already popped in your mind. Things are simple. They don't take a lot of time or analysis. People want to make stuff complex. That person already popped in. You got 2 or 3, do it 2 or 3 times. At least do it once and take a minute. So this is kindness and gratitude. It's an intention. Practice it every day, especially during this journey. But I'm giving you a way to jump it up. So I think we're on day 5, halfway through. We still got 5 days to go. And again, when you start practicing this in your daily life, when you're feeling down and you do a kindness to someone, some people even volunteer. They volunteer so much they forgot it's kindness. Yeah, I think of volunteering, like, that's so great. You volunteer, you're giving freely of your time, for a cause, making the world a better place. Some people volunteer like, I can't stand these people. They taking me for granted. They don't. Well, you're not really all that charitable anymore. So you might want to quit your volunteer position. If it's not in the right spirit, you're probably causing a little bit more cancer and a little bit more problem into the situation than good. So awareness, consciousness, your attitude, your thoughts, your mind is everything. Be grateful and be kind. And I'm telling you, it's medicine. It is medicine. It will change your mindset. The day I was feeling sort of down, when I did those cards, I was blessed right away. I mean, literally was like, it's so much better. So this is a powerful one. Kindness and gratitude. Vote love, people. Find unity, meet in the middle. Love, 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 love and light.